Everyone saw Tom Murphy as a drunk fisherman every morning at Cedar Point Harbor's dock number 7, sitting next to his old Sea Ghost fishing boat. He always had a half-finished whiskey bottle in his hand. 52-year-old Murphy's face was weathered by the harsh winds of the sea, his beard unkempt, his eyes often appearing misty. The other fishermen at the harbor called him Real Murphy, but talked behind his back, calling him Drunk Tom. What they didn't know was that this drunk fisherman was actually retired Navy SEAL Team 6 Captain Tom Murphy, who had never missed a single target in his 15-year career. And today, the drug smuggling network operating in Cedar Point Harbor was about to learn where Murphy's never-missed nickname came from. Tuesday morning at 5:30 a.m., Tom Murphy sat on the deck of Sea Ghost, sipping his coffee bourbon mixture while observing the harbor. From the outside, it looked like an ordinary fisherman's morning routine, but Murphy's eyes were recording every detail: which boats had returned at night, which cars were waiting in the harbor parking, which men were moving outside normal fisherman patterns. "Morning, Tom," Charlie Kowalski called out from the neighboring dock while preparing his boat. "Are you going fishing today, or are you going to drink at the dock again?" Tom raised his whiskey bottle, shook it slightly. "Charlie, I'm always fishing. I just don't catch the kind of fish everyone knows about." Charlie shook his head, not understanding what Tom was talking about. Most of Tom's conversations were like this, strange, cryptic, as if he was talking about another world, but Tom really was fishing. Only the fish he caught were of a very different species. For the past 6 months, Tom had been observing unusual activity at Cedar Point Harbor. Vessels that weren't normal fishing boats were coming and going late at night. Suspicious cargo transfers were taking place, and every week different high-end cars came to the harbor for mysterious meetings. Tom's Navy SEAL training told him this was a drug trafficking operation, and it was a big operation. At 6:15 a.m., Tom's attention turned to a 45-foot yacht named Isabella Cruz. This boat had been parked at the harbor for 3 days, but no owner had been seen. Tom directed his binoculars, which everyone thought he used for fishing, toward the yacht. There were 4 men on the yacht's deck, and Tom recognized them: Colombian cartel associates. He had seen them on the FBI's most wanted list 2 weeks ago. Interesting, Tom thought. Colombian fish swimming in American waters. At 7 a.m., a black SUV came to the harbor. The man who got out shocked: Tom Detective Ray Morrison, Cedar Point Police Department. Tom knew Morrison as a clean cop, but now he was walking toward the cartel yacht. Tom felt emotional conflict. Morrison was a good cop, father of 2 children, serving the community, but he was meeting with the cartel. Tom followed Morrison with his binoculars. He stayed on the yacht for 15 minutes. There was a briefcase exchange, then he left. "Corruption," Tom whispered. Local law enforcement had been compromised. This was a turning point for Tom. For 2 years he had been hiding behind alcohol, struggling with his PTSD and the guilt of lost team members. But when his innocent community was threatened, Captain Tom Murphy was awakening. Tom went to his boat's cabin, opened the false bottom. Inside was a sealed tactical bag, gear he hadn't touched for 2 years, waterproof communication equipment, maritime GPS, tactical knife, and custom Sig Sauer P 226 Navy SEAL service weapon. Tom inspected his equipment. Muscle memory kicked in. Weapon maintenance, comm gear testing, tactical planning. 15 years of SEAL training was coming back, but there was a problem. Tom was alone. No team support, no backup, and no official authority. He was conducting illegal investigation as a civilian. Tom made a decision. Investigation first, action if necessary. That evening, Tom used his drunken fisherman routine to survey the harbor. Sitting at the rusty Anchor bar in the harbor and drinking, actually club soda, he listened to conversations. Isabella Cruz ready for tomorrow night departure. Spanish accented voice. Morrison ensures no patrol boats in Sector 7. Another voice. Cargo transfer complete after midnight. Total value $50 million. Tom now knew the operational details. Tomorrow night, major drug shipment departure, $50 million value. Detective Morrison providing inside protection. As Tom left the bar, he planned strategy. Solo operation, minimal resources, maximum impact. Classic SEAL approach. The next day, Tom made preparations. He tuned up Sea Ghost's engine, actually optimized for high-performance maritime pursuit, updated navigation equipment, and brought fuel tanks to full capacity. "Tom, why are you doing such detailed work on this old boat?" Charlie asked curiously. "Charlie, good equipment is needed for good fishing. I'm planning a big catch tonight." That evening at 9:30 p.m., Tom quietly took Sea Ghost out of the harbor. Engine at minimal RPM, lights off, radar signature minimized. SEAL maritime stealth techniques. Toured Isabella Cruz's 2 miles offshore position, using night vision goggles, camouflaged as fishing gear. He tracked the target. At 11:15 p.m., Isabella Cruz began departure. It wasn't alone. 2 escort boats, heavily armed crew, professional navigation. Tom followed the convoy while maintaining distance. This was a major operation, international scope. At midnight, the convoy approached Canadian waters. International drug trafficking, cross-border operation. Tom had to make a critical decision. They were leaving U.S. territorial waters. Jurisdiction would end. He had to take action now, or the operation would escape. Tom took out his tactical gear from Sea Ghost's hidden compartment. Wetsuit, breathing apparatus, underwater propulsion device, tactical weapons, Navy SEAL maritime assault kit. Tom made the decision. Single assault on 3 boats, 12 plus hostile personnel, suicide mission by normal standards, routine operation for Navy SEAL Team 6. Tom began aquatic approach, leaving Sea Ghost on autopilot to maintain course. He switched to underwater infiltration. Underwater approach was Navy SEAL Team 6's specialty. Tom made an 800-meter underwater swim, approaching Isabella Cruz's hull. He placed explosive charges on the yacht's hull, for disabling not destruction, then used climbing gear to make a silent ascent to the deck. There were 2 guards on deck, with automatic weapons. Tom made an assessment from behind cover. First guard elimination, silent takedown, pressure point application, unconscious but alive. Second guard, same method. Tom moved to the yacht's bridge. He disabled navigation equipment, jammed communication systems, sabotaged engines. In the captain's cabin, he made a major discovery: detailed maps, contact lists, financial records. This operation wasn't just drug smuggling, weapons trafficking, human trafficking, money laundering, complete criminal enterprise. And the most shocking discovery: Detective Morrison wasn't just a corrupt cop. He was the U.S. side coordinator of the operation. Tom photographed evidence, secured it in waterproof storage. Then he moved to the yacht's crew quarters. 6 cartel members sleeping in cabins. Tom secured them one by one. Zip tie restraints, sedation non-lethal, movement restriction. But the most dangerous part was yet to come. 2 escort boats were still active, and they were conducting armed patrol. Tom made underwater exit from the yacht. Second phase, escort boats neutralization. First escort boat approach. Tom attached a sabotage device to the boat's propeller from underwater. Engine failure, mobility loss. Second escort boat much more challenging. Heavily armed, alert crew, professional maritime security. Tom chose psychological warfare instead of direct assault. He broadcast emergency signal from the yacht. Mayday, under attack, request immediate assistance. The escort boats fell into confusion. The yacht being unresponsive, emergency signal, communication loss, panic mode. Tom exploited this confusion. When the second escort boat's crew moved to assist the yacht, Tom secured the first boat's crew. Single-man operation, 3 boats, 15 plus personnel neutralized. Mission parameters exceeded. But Tom's real mission wasn't complete yet. He needed to expose Morrison. Tom sent an anonymous tip to the FBI field office, using encrypted communication, location coordinates, evidence photos, personnel identification, full intelligence package. Then Tom returned to Sea Ghost, navigated to normal fishing position. At 3:30 a.m., U.S. Coast Guard and FBI joint operation intercepted the convoy. Tom watched from a distance. Perfect operation. 15 arrests. $50 million drug seizure. International trafficking network disrupted. But the most important part, Detective Morrison was arrested. The next morning, Tom returned to his normal routine at the harbor. Coffee and fishing preparation, casual conversation. Tom, there was crazy activity at the harbor last night, Charlie excitedly told him. Drug bust, FBI operation, Coast Guard everywhere. Really? Tom sipped his whiskey bottle.
I went to sleep early.
Fisherman life, you know. But there was satisfaction in Tom's eyes. Clean operation, 0 casualties, mission success. A week later, a new face appeared at the harbor. FBI agent Sarah Martinez approached Tom. Mr. Murphy, can we have coffee? Tom knew this conversation would inevitably happen. At the coffee shop, Agent Martinez took a direct approach. Tom, impressive work last week. Anonymous tip, very detailed, very accurate, almost professional quality. Agent Martinez, I'm just a fisherman. When I see unusual things at the harbor, it's citizen duty to report. Tom, your fishing expertise is remarkable. Ever consider consulting work? Tom thought. For 2 years he had been hiding behind alcohol, struggling with guilt, living in isolation. But last week something had awakened. Purpose, mission, team feeling. Agent Martinez, my fishing skills are rusty. I prefer a different life in retirement. Understood. But Tom, the community needs protectors. Official and unofficial. Agent Martinez left a business card. If you ever want to go fishing again, different kind of fishing. That night, Tom sat on Sea Ghost's deck, looking at the stars. For the first time in 2 years, he wasn't drinking bourbon mixed with coffee. The harbor was peaceful. The community was safe. Children could play in the playground. Families could go walking. Fishermen could make an honest living. Tom made a decision. He would continue the drunk fisherman act, but his eyes and ears would stay open. He would be Cedar Point Harbor's unofficial guardian. A week later, a new boat arrived at the harbor. Caribbean Express. Suspicious activity. Unusual crew. Tom took his binoculars, began his fishing routine. Time to go fishing again. Tom smiled. Because Captain Tom Real, Murphy never missed, and predators at Cedar Point Harbor couldn't dare enter Tom's fishing tent. The other fishermen at the harbor still thought he was drunk Tom. But the truth was, Tom Murphy was never drunk. He was always hunting, and retired captains from Navy SEAL Team 6 never went into retirement. They just got transferred to different missions. Tom's new mission: protect Cedar Point Harbor, and he would never miss in that mission either. The harbor was calm, the community was safe, and Tom Murphy continued fishing. Different kind of fishing, but for the most dangerous fish.